Good morning. What day is it? Tuesday. It's Tuesday. So hopefully you're having a good start to your beginning of your week, Tuesday. And everything is going well. Okay. Pardon me. If it's not, then you are changing that today, right? You're not letting your life live you. You are living your life. That's what's happening, right? And you are making the decisions today. You are scheduling your life today so that you get the most important things that you need done, the things that will make you feel the most productive, the things that are hanging over your head that you need to finish. You're saying no to everything else until you get those things finished. Okay, whatever they are. I mean, it's like almost April, so maybe taxes. Totally understand taxes. If it's taxes, get them done, right? Okay, all right. Today I'm in Psalm 27. The title of the psalm is Trust in God. The first verse of the first part of the first verse, I almost did not move on. I actually don't think I have moved on from that yet. It's one sentence, one question, and I haven't left it. And that's okay. So that's what I want to tell you right now, okay? That's okay. If you're reading the Bible and you're reading it slow like I am, and you are taking in each part, taking in each verse, understanding what God has for you, what He means for you in that, you don't have to read it fast. It's not a chapter book, okay? It's not it can be a mystery novel, whatever you want to make it in your head, but it's not a chapter book. It's not something we have to read super fast so we can get to the end and say we read it. It's something that we literally need in our lives every single day. And as we read it, if we just read it to read, and we don't soak in what it talks about, we don't soak in what the verses say, we don't soak in what God is telling us through it, then we don't soak it in, right? Then we don't know what it means. Then we don't have an understanding of what He wants from us, for us, through this. Okay? So, I forgot all my housekeeping stuff in the beginning. So, if you'd like to see my other Jesus Time videos, they're on my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio. My podcast, I do have a podcast. The link is in the bio. If you're watching anybody create content anywhere, whether it's this or some other inspiring person, even if you think, oh, well, they have 15,000 comments. If you want to continue to see their stuff, you need to interact. Whether it's a comment, whether it's a heart, whatever it is, whether you're subscribing on YouTube, whether you're subscribing to the podcast, do that for your favorite creator. Do that for somebody who encourages you and uplifts you, because 1, it encourages them and uplifts them. 2, helps you see the most relevant information all the time. And 3, if you find it valuable, then other people are probably going to find it valuable. Okay. So let me go back to this. When you're reading that Bible, it's okay to go slow. It's okay. Okay? Because you are soaking in the information. Good morning. I don't know who that was. It hasn't showed me anybody's anywhere, anything. So good morning to you. Let me just read to you what I read this morning. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom should I fear? That's it. That's all. That's the first question in this verse, in this psalm. That's the first thing I read this morning. And I haven't been able to go past it because I don't feel like I'm supposed to right now. I just need to let that soak into my soul. The confidence that we should have. Sorry. Excuse me. Hi, Amy. Now it shows me. The confidence, good morning, that we should have in Jesus as humans is amazing. Do we always practice that? No. Does that always happen? No. As we learned yesterday in in that video, that even when Jesus is right in front of Peter, Peter still looks away. So as humans, we err. Thank you. We err, right? As humans, even when something is right in front of us, we can overthink it. And that's just human nature. We can look away from it. When something is good, when something is going really good in our lives, do you have the tendency to think, when is the shoe going to drop? When is the other shoe going to drop? Okay, my life is going really good right now. When is the other shoe coming? Is it here? See, I had that tendency. And so when I first was pregnant, well, not first, but when I was at the end of my pregnancy, things were going really well in my life, in my marriage, just everything. And I was pregnant with our first child. And I walked around thinking, when is this other shoe going to drop? How is this so good? Like, it can't be good forever. And so what is it called? Self-fulfilling prophecy. So I had my son and the other shoe dropped. He was deaf. And that was a hard situation in life for me. However, what I have learned from that is when you are running around thinking about when is the other shoe going to drop, we forget that this is life. It is not meant to be perfect. It is not meant to be perfect. I heard a quote yesterday from a man named Jim Rohn that said, things happen. I mean, this is not the exact quote, but this is the gist of it. Things happen. Things happen to everybody. And for us to think that our garden is not going to be invaded is very naive. And it's so true. We walk around in our lives thinking that everything should be perfect all the time, and nothing should ever happen to us. Nothing should ever happen in our lives that is going to be hard, that is going to hurt, that is going to be unfair, that is going to be any of these things. Nothing should ever happen that way. It should just be perfect. But that's not the reality of the situation. The reality of our situation of life as humans here on this earth is that things happen to us, for us. So see, the mentality of the other foot, the mentality of the other shoe dropping here is when we are in that mentality of all these things are happening to me. All these things are happening to me. They're not fair. They shouldn't be happening. Maybe somebody else has done something to us and we don't think that should have happened. Whatever it is. All of these things are happening to me. But when we just change one word, one in that sentence, we literally change the entire focus and vision of how we see life, how we live our life, how we grow, how we love. This is happening for me. That's the change. Because yes, bad stuff happens. Yes, it does. Sometimes it's in your control, sometimes it's not in your control. It is what it is. But it happens. But if we start to look at it, and instead of thinking, oh my gosh, this is happening to me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me. Oh my gosh, well, how am I going to deal with it? Oh my gosh. We start to realize it's happening for us. We don't know the reason, maybe, right in the thick of it. We don't know that reason. Maybe we do. Maybe God has told us the reason. Maybe we don't want to look up. Maybe we don't want to look at the reason because the reason might be scary. The reason might force us to change something. But okay, hold on. If we are meant to change something in our lives, if you are literally meant to change something in your life, the more you resist that change, the harder your life is going to be. Because see, when things happen for you, when things change for you and you resist that, and you try to stay in the same place that you are now, or on the same path that you are now, your life is only going to get worse and worse and worse and harder and harder and harder and harder, because you're not meant to be where you are. You're meant to be over here, but you won't change it because you're scared, because you're fearful, because of whatever. But God says, do not fear. I am your salvation. Whom should you fear? Nothing. Nobody. So if you are meant to change something, stop standing still. Stop trying to stay where you are. If that is a person that is meant to leave your life, if that is a thing that you are not supposed to do anymore, a job you're not supposed to have anymore, something new, some other opportunity that you are supposed to take, stop standing in fear. Stop trying to stay in the same place. Stop arguing with God. Stop trying to see for yourself. Just move. Do you want your life to be happier, better? Do you want more growth, or do you want to stay here? Is here good for you? Because if here is not good for you and you know you're supposed to move, here is only going to get worse. Here is only going to get harder. The fear that you have about the move that you need to make needs to spur you on. You need to follow it. You need to do it anyway. Look, I will use my life as an example because I tend to be doing that anyway. When I first approached God, I had 4 kids, under 4. Oh, they were 4 and under. Yeah. And I was tired. I was depressed. I was sad. I was in the same life is happening to me mentality. This is so hard. It is hard. I mean, it's still hard. Having all my kids is really hard. And they're all close together and they're all boys. It is what it is. But I was in the same life is happening to me mentality. It's the victim mentality, right? And if we're honest with ourselves, if we're honest with that, it's a hard place to be honest. It's a hard place to think, man, that's what I'm like. That's what's happening to me right now. Because then you kind of have to swallow your pride and realize that that has to change. But when I said to God, I need help. I need help. I need to be able to contribute to our family. Look, I'm not the person who feels like being a mom is my only contribution. Being a mom is amazing. But in me, there's work. In me, I need something different. And God called me. And he said, not on the phone, he said, go do network marketing. This is what you're meant to do. And I said, no, absolutely not. I cannot do that. I do not know how to do that. People say that doesn't work. I don't care what people say. Do you know I've heard that so many times? Oh my gosh. I don't care what people say. This is your path. No. People are going to hate me. You're going to attract the people who love you. This is going to bring out a power in you that you did not know existed. Nope. So I stayed. Because I refused. Because I resisted. Because I said, that's not real. How can that be real? That's not even a viable option of business. But God persisted. And it took me time. And things got worse. My mental health got worse. My need to release the power in me started to feel so overbearing. How do I do it? God said, Kristen, I've already told you. But I don't want to do that. But it is how you will fulfill your purpose for me in your life. And I know it seems silly to cry over. But God, he was right. If there is something that you were meant to do, if there is an opportunity that you were meant to take, if there's a new job, if there's somebody you can't have in your life anymore, If there's some toxic friend, if there's some toxic boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, spouse, I don't know. I don't want to say the word spouse, but if there's just some toxic person in your life, if you are meant to do something different, don't stay in the same place you are. Work on yourself. How do you do it? You work on yourself first. You work on yourself by reading the Bible. You work on yourself by listening to God, by taking the path that He has shown you and given you, and you stop resisting it. And when you go that way, the people that are meant to be with you will go too. They will grow too. The ones that are not, they won't. And it will weed them out. And it's a tough process. Tough. It's a tough process. But it's for you. For your good. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I would like to back up to that word spouse for just a minute. I'm absolutely not in any way advocating leaving your spouse. So I would like to cover that there. But you have to watch God's path for you. Follow God's path for you. Do not resist God's path for you. The more you do, the harder your life will be. Believe me, because I've been there. And I'm not going to say that I'll never resist again. Every day, He asks me to do things that make me want to throw up. Whew. Every day. And I just take one step at a time. And that's this next thing that I want to talk about real quick. What you have to offer, what you have to offer is really enough. I know that this world says, if you don't have fame, if you don't have fortune, if you don't have all of these things, then you just have this little loaf of bread over here, and you're not going to be able to do much with it. You're not going to be able to change the world. And in fact, when you think about it, when you try, people are going to make fun of you for that. It's happened to me right in my own family when I started network marketing. Passive aggressive, making fun of, hurts. But the thing about it is, that small loaf that you have, God can multiply that. Do you know the story of the 2 fish and the 5 loaves? Where there was no food? No food, just lots of hungry people. God's teaching them. Jesus out there teaching them. All these hungry people, nothing to eat. People are getting hangry. I mean, if you have kids, you know what hangry is. You get it. Your kids get it. They all anyone has to offer is the 5 loaves and 2 fish. They brought them to the hands of Jesus. And they all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish. That's left over. Mark 6, verses 42 through 43. That's left over. After everybody has had their fill, there's still more. So why do you think that what you have to offer is not enough? Because it is. God can take what you have to offer and abundantly multiply it into what He needs it to be. When you offer everything you have to Him, the good, and get this, the bad too. He put you here with all these different pieces, and sometimes the bad feels like it's hard to deal with. It's hard to overcome, like addiction. But when you offer it to Him, the good and the bad. He can use every single part of it. Every single part of it for his good. And he can multiply it into what it needs to be. So you do not need to think that because you feel like your loaf is small, that you cannot change the world with that small loaf, because you can when you offer it to Jesus. He will take it. He will feed the hungry with it. He will make the way for the change that you are supposed to make in this world, because he has already laid that path for you. He has already taken those steps, and he knows where you're going, where you are now. We think we need to change the bread. We need to make the bread pretty. This little loaf, we need to make it pretty so that people will take it seriously. We need to make it taste good so that people will actually want to eat it. We need our bread to be perfect before we even try to offer it to God. He doesn't want it perfect. He doesn't want it perfect. He only wants it. He only wants what you have to offer. That is perfect to him. Our idea of perfect is so skewed to God and Jesus's, to God's idea of perfect. So skewed. He only wants it from you. Jesus says to us, daughter, son, you don't have to be enough or have a lot. Only offer all you are, all you have, to me. I will turn that into abundance beyond all you can imagine. All things are possible with me. And here's the kicker. Here's the thing I tell myself every single day, guys. This is something that stays in my brain, and I have to say it over and over and over. Not only is Jesus the supplier of your bread that he gave to you, but he is the multiplier. See, he takes what you give him and he makes it more. He makes it what he needs it to be. So if you feel small, if you feel insignificant, if you feel like what you have is not enough, know that you are exactly who you are meant to be, and what you have to offer is enough. And when you place it in Jesus' hands, it will be so much more than enough. You will be amazed. I'm going to end with this. You make a difference. Hey, you, the one with the loaves and the fish, wondering if what you have to offer can even make a difference. Oh, yes, it can. We need you, just you, to open your hands and your heart, to dare to give what you've been given, to place it in the hands of the one who made you, and who can make what you have to offer more than enough too. Did you hear that? We need you. We need you. We need you to place it in his hands. The world needs you to place it in his hands. Because the change that you bring to this world is unique. You are the only one who can bring that change. And if you never place it in his hands and never allow him to multiply it, that change may not happen. And we need you. Your change matters to this world. Who you are matters to this world. You are already enough. And you do not need to fear anyone. Have a good Tuesday. I'm proud of you.